Hey everybody, Real Estate Ninja here. The truth about mortgage rates are about to come out as there's a massive battle between Donald Trump, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve. But what the truth is that most people don't realize that mortgage rates are rarely affected by Federal Reserve interest rate policy. The day-to-day, month-to-month, and year-to-year rates that you see for mortgage rates, and they've jumped. This is right out of market rate, right? Mortgage rates jump above 7% after the Moody's downgrade of U.S. credit. It's actually not the reason. Most people don't understand what causes rates to go up or down, and that is the 10-year bond. There's loan companies or mortgage brokers out there that say, oh, we go prime plus this or whatever. It really has to do with the 10-year. This is what all banks look at because the average amount of time, it's been a while since I've looked, that a person keeps a mortgage or even a house is around 7 years. So they know that if they tie a loan product to a house and use a benchmark rate that's determined by a specific amount of time that is a little bit longer than the average time that someone keeps that loan, the bank's good. Why would the bank care about this? Well, let me give you an example. Look at just 3 years ago, 4 years ago. How much were mortgage rates? I made this. Let me ask you this real quick. Type your mortgage rate down below. And if you don't have a mortgage, type no mortgage or no loan. I'm just curious. Some of those people may own their house cash. Some people may not have a house, right? Just 3 or 4 years ago, we had hugely discounted rates, which were artificially low rates because of the Great Recession, right? I did a video, actually a string of videos, right as Powell said, we're going to start getting on top of this inflation thing, after the numbers started coming in bad, in about 4 months. And I started doing this string of videos saying, you got to refi now. You've got to refi now. It's the last chance you're going to get for this low rate. And so many people on both channels ran over to their mortgage broker and they got loans. But a lot of them spent way too much money on those loans and fees and things like that than they should have. That's why I'll put that blowout price for the mortgage bundle down below. Once you learn this stuff, all the tricks of the trade, how to save tons of money and get lower rates on mortgages, you'll know it for the rest of your life. So that link's down below. But now we're about to see the difference, the inverse of that. So you have a lot of people with these low mortgages, and now real estate's constricting so hard because mortgage rates are so expensive. And on top of that, you've got this artificial, this explosion in insurance prices, property tax prices, things like that, right? HOA fees and stuff like that. Well, going back to the banks, you see, let's say 4 years ago, banks were loaning out money and at, let's say 2.5%, 3%, maybe 3.5%, right? Whereas today they could be loaning that same money out, but at over double the interest rates. And when we're talking about mortgages, those are front-loaded mortgage loans. Interest loans. Those are incredible money makers for people. Someday soon, I hope that many people are going to learn on this channel how to carry their own paper and get that kind of interest. But it's not time to do that yet because the amount of defaults are stacking up with Freddie and Fannie loans. We're even seeing SBA loans spike where the government's actually secretly going in and redoing a bunch of loans. I haven't even started talking about that yet. But my point being is that it's the 10-year bond that's affecting this. And right now, like mortgage rates jumping, they're saying it's after the Moody's downgrade. Well, that would cause a lot of people to think that it's because banks are going, well, we're not going to loan at lower rates. We're going to charge more rates. That's actually not the case. What banks do is they charge you higher points and they restrict the type of borrower that they accept. They get really strict to that because they want their loan book to look really good so that when the bank has to borrow money overnight from other banks, their credit worthiness is high enough to where they can get a good deal on that overnight lending rate. Guys, type 1 if this is making sense. Type 2 if you think I'm talking gibberish. I'm just curious how many people are grasping this. The Moody's downgrade is a big deal because it's the third and final big credit rating agency that has cut the U.S. debt. But the problem is you have a lack of bond buyers right now because there are a lot of people that are not thinking that this is good, and they think that things are going to get worse. So why are they're out there speculating on all these speculative bets, especially crypto right now. And you've got other countries selling their US bonds to take that money and buy their own currency to shore up the strength of their current countries. This is why it's very important to understand these macro effects. And in a few minutes after this video, I'm going to go on the Economic Ninja channel and tell everybody the opposite, a way to make money off of your current mortgage, or what you need to get ready to do to your current mortgage, or how you're going to need to get ready to get a mortgage to take massive advantage of what's coming next in the economy, while Trump is like railing against the Fed and trying to coerce them to lower rates. This is going to be, you're about to see a change where the hourglass shift, and it's almost empty and you're like, oh, time's almost out. And then Trump's going to take it and flip it. And if you're not ready to flip with it, you're going to miss that next money move. Just like what we did 3 years ago, where everybody went out and refinanced their home. They got a much lower payment. And then I encourage people to take the difference, the amount that you're saving per month, and stack that against other debt, or take it and stack it into Bitcoin, silver, and gold. I was a huge proponent of that. And look, that paid off. But the next thing's about to happen, and it's about to flip. This whole hourglass is about to flip. So I'm going to go over that. But what I want to do is, the reason why we're talking about the mortgages right now is because it's really important that you know how to take out a mortgage properly, or refinance properly, or use mortgages to make you a ton of money in rentals. So I put both of those courses together. It's funny how financial education people don't pay for and you don't get it. There's nowhere in college where it actually shows you how to make legitimate money, unless you're going to like the Wharton School of Business, right? And 99.9% of Americans are not going to Wharton. But then again, Wharton really teaches you how to be a C-suite exec. That's really what it does. I do know a handful of Deca and centimillionaires personally that went to Wharton. But really, they're that rich because they own their own companies. It's not that they, are employees. But I highly suggest you look at those two courses. You're going to walk away. And here's one thing that's massive. One of the gentlemen that helped me film that course has been in the brokerage industry for 30 years, and amazing guy, subscriber, one of my first subscribers of the channel. I talked to him for a year before I even contemplated doing a project with him. I really like him, a massive amount of knowledge, and it's going to change the way you do mortgages your entire life. So I highly suggest you take a look at that. And here's another thing. I want to ask you this. A lot of people in life, this blows me away. Starting my financial education company and watching how people react, 99% of the students are amazing. The 1% your mind always goes to that are the bad ones, right? And I've never had a student just rail against my course. I always watch the people that have never tried to buy financial education, or even, they probably don't even buy financial books and spend $20 to change their life, right? What blows me away is there are a lot of people that go, hey, that's a really good sale right there. I'm going to buy it because I'm going to save money, right? Or people like me, I used to go into Ross. This is how I used to make my money. Like, I'm not joking. Before I made my first million, early 20s, I would go to Ross and I would go buy, there's this clothing company called BC Ethic. They made like cool bowling shirts, and they're expensive. They're all in boutiques, but at a certain point, this really short period of time, BC Ethic made too many clothes. They couldn't sell it. So they're selling it to Ross. Well, so there was still these people all around the country buying this stuff in boutiques for like, I don't know, 80, 90 bucks a shirt. And I can go get them at Ross for 20 bucks. So I'd buy them all up, list them on eBay, and ship them all around the US for like 50 bucks because people are gobbling them up, right? So there's a lot of people that go, hey, there's something really cheap I could buy and I could sell it. But they don't think about, hey, there's a way I can learn this little nugget of information, of financial information. I can make, buy something for 200 bucks, save $2,000 the first time I use it, the knowledge, but then I get to use that over and over and over and over my entire life. And it now builds a plateau, a baseline of information and knowledge that blows me away. But it's something that actually, that little concept that I told you just now has to be taught, because it's not taught in our colleges, because our colleges are created to make slaves, employees. That's all they want. Go to school, get a 4-year degree, get a good job, get a retirement, and there you go, you're taken care of. But you're not. You barely make it through because the wages never truly go up with inflation. Anyway, it blows me away. Links down below if you want. It's like a blowout sale price. I don't know when we're going to end it, but I keep forgetting to put it out there. I've only put it out, I think, twice on the other channel. Hopefully you have a great day. I'm going to go live on Economic Ninja in a few minutes with what people need to do with their mortgages and get ready for it right now. Economic Ninja, I always do that. The Real Estate Ninja is out.